Yeah. Straight up. Let's go. Welcome to Straight Up TJ. Tap in, sit back, press replay. We're locked in with the Saints on a weekday. Now we talk every sport, every big play. Years on the grind, now we level up the view. From the dome to the world, get a better look at you. No script, just truth when we break it down. Barbershop talk, but we broadcast it loud. Welcome to Straight Up TJ. Straight up. Fresh takes every time a beat play. This ain't your everyday sports cliche. We talk real talk now, what the streets say. Welcome to Straight Up TJ. New wave every week, let it replay. From the Saints to the whole game each day. You tapped in with the truth. Straight Up TJ. Real time talk, yeah, you know that it's live. From the draft to the deals, how the stars really thrive. From the court to the field to the big stage. We gon' cover every angle like a back page. No cap, no spin, just a clear take. If it's weak, we gon' say let the fear break. From the city that believe when the odds stack, TJ got the whole sports world in the group chat. Straight Up TJ. Straight up. Fresh takes every time a beat play. This ain't your everyday sports cliche. We talk real talk now, what the streets say. Welcome to Straight Up TJ. New wave every week, let it replay. From the Saints to the whole game each day. You tapped in with the truth. Straight Up TJ. TJ Jones. Turn it up, let it ride. Straight Up TJ. We on your side. New chapter, same grind, same name. Hit play, pull up. Join the gang.
Hey, what's going on? It is yours truly, TJ Jones, and thank you so much for checking out another edition of the Straight Up TJ Podcast. Really do appreciate your time. Shouts out to everybody listening, no matter if you're at work, at home, on the go. Really do appreciate it. On this edition, we're going to be talking about Saints training camp day one and talking about some of the biggest storylines coming out of Saints training camp. But before we get started, I ask that you hit the like and subscribe button. It helps the channel to grow. We're a very interactive podcast. It's very simple. As we get started, as we talk about different topics, all you have to do is put the comments in the chat if you want to tap in.
Yeah. Tap in. Straight Up TJ on the mic. If you with me, let me know. Drop your name in the chat tonight. I want that real talk, not a ghost. Say what get you the most. If you vibing, make it loud. We can run it back, go coast to coast. Put it in the chat. Put it in the chat. If you feel that, yeah, run it right back. Put your comments in the chat. We would like to hear from you. Straight Up TJ, tap in. Straight Up TJ, tap in. Put your comments in the chat. Let the whole room see it too. Straight Up TJ, tap in. Straight Up TJ, tap
in. Yeah, very simple. All you have to do is put the comments in the chat. But let's go ahead and get into it. Talk a little bit about Saints training camp. They won. The New Orleans Saints kicked off training camp on Wednesday. And, you know, there are some storylines that we got to discuss. But I think that one topic that is going to stand out among the rest as of right now, and that involves Saints defensive tackle Bryan Bresee. Now, according to Ian Rappaport, NFL insider, he says Saints defensive tackle Bryan Bresee, one of the linchpins of their defense and a rising star, is feared to have suffered a torn ACL per me and Mike Garafolo. Says while tests are ongoing, it's likely the former first rounder is done for the season. So first casualty of the year for the New Orleans Saints. Looks like Bryan Bresee. We know that Bryan Bresee, he signed a 5th-year option back in April for the New Orleans Saints, and this was supposed to be a year that decides if Bryan Bresee will get a contract extension or maybe, you know, make himself a little bit more appetizing going into free agency. But it's very unfortunate that the big man looks like he has torn his ACL. And based on this report, I'm just going by the timeline. It seemed like to me like Ian Rappaport, Mike Garofalo probably got this from somebody very, very close to Bryan Bresee. It seems like looking at some of the reports from the local media, nobody really saw when the injury actually occurred. But the fact that Ian Rappaport, Mike Garofalo actually has this information, it probably came from somebody close to Bryan Bresee. So very unfortunate stuff for the big man. He had 2.5 sacks last season. We know that Bryan Bresee was more of a 4-3 defensive tackle, more than a 3-4, but he was starting to get a little bit better when it comes to stopping the run. And this was supposed to be a year where things could possibly come together for him. But unfortunately, it looks like that won't happen. But prayers up to Bryan Bresee. He has his whole career ahead of him. This is just a minor setback for the 24-year-old defensive tackle, and just look forward to what he can do in the future. But with that, you got to look towards the future. You got to look towards some of these younger players that are coming along on the interior. You look at guys like Vernon Broughton, who was injured last season. He's looking to kind of rebound from injury that kept him out his rookie season. Then you have guys like Christian Miller, who is there, Devon Godshaw, Nathan Shepard. Some of these veterans that are a part of the team, aligned with Christian Miller, the second-round pick of the Saints, they're going to have to pick up the slack, and they're going to have to go for it and try to make sure that they are formidable up front. We know that the 3-4 defense, it is predicated on the fact that your defensive tackles are able to take up space. So these guys are going to have to make sure that they are doing their job. It's going to be a little tough without Bryan Bresee. Like I mentioned, Bryan Bresee wasn't a run-stopping defensive tackle, but he was a guy that you can count on to make a play. He has made countless plays on special teams. We've seen that athleticism a couple of times. I know we all remember the game against the New York Giants a few years ago where he jumped over the pile and blocked the kick, and he's done that a couple of times on special teams. So definitely a guy that the Saints were relying on, but he is more than likely done for the season. Other storylines that involve the New Orleans Saints have to be the second year of quarterback Tyler Shuck. As we look towards training camp, we see Tyler Shuck trying to emerge as that leader. Several members of the New Orleans Saints spoke to the media. They were asked questions about Tyler Shuck, and everybody pretty much said the same thing. They're looking for him to be that leader and emerge into that leadership role. And he has done the things that are necessary to live up to that expectation by getting his team together, by organizing off-season activities for him in his offense, and also just doing the little things to let people know that he is trying to be the leader that they need him to be. Tyler Shuck spoke to the media on Wednesday after practice, and he just spoke a little bit about, going into his second year, but he still feels like it's a first year for him based on the fact that he didn't really have a full season. So this is what he said.
Yeah, I think for me, it's just it's every single day is finding one thing I can kind of focus on and get better. And I think you look at it from a holistic perspective, and you can look at last year in multiple ways. We were at the bottom of the NFC South. It wasn't a good year. So I think there's a lot of stuff that we can build off of, and as a whole team and myself. And it still feels like a year one. I have the banked reps on some of it, but I've still only played a certain amount of games, and I feel like myself, I have a lot more to learn and a lot more to grow. And I think as a team, we feel the same way, and that's exciting at the same time. We want that, experience and expectation, but we also want to get better.
So one of those things is like not getting too wrapped up in what you did last year.
Yeah, I mean, I think you use the experience that you had and the learning lessons that we had, but also shift our focus forward and understand it's a whole new year and a new team. And I think that's what we're looking forward to.
Yeah, so you look at Tyler Shuck, he's looking forward to the year He's looking forward to emerging and being that starting quarterback for the New Orleans Saints. Look, I like Tyler Shuck a lot. I think he's made of the right stuff. I think that, he's going to be better this season, and I think his teammates trust him. And I think that he is getting the respect of the locker room, and that's what you want from a quarterback. But how do you maintain that respect? Is by going out there, playing some lights out football and putting the team on your back in some cases, letting your teammates know that you can be the guy that they can rely on to make plays and help them to win football games. So that's what's going to keep Tyler Shuck in the good graces of his teammates. That's what's going to keep Tyler Shuck in the good graces of the Who Dat Nation. Also, Chris Olave. Chris Olave was limited in practice, and it wasn't because of injury or anything like that. It had a lot to do with his contract situation, which I think we all have talked about, and I've talked about it on the last episode here on the Straight Up TJAY Podcast. And I told everybody, I said, don't be surprised if Chris Olave doesn't take part in training camp and all activities. And he did not on Wednesday. He took part in some of the portions of practice, but when it was time for the team drills, he did not take part in it. And with the business side of the game, where a player tries to get a new deal, and he wants to make sure that he protects himself and make sure that he doesn't sustain an injury before the ink is put on a new contract. And I don't want any Saints fans to get upset with Chris Olave for conducting business, because he is looking out for his best interest, which is getting that contract and making sure that he is able to take care of himself and take care of his family. And there's nothing wrong with that, because if something was to happen to Chris Olave, if he was to go down, be injured, similar to Bryan Bresee, unfortunately, a guy who signed a 5th-year option and was looking to build on a really solid season to have some leverage going into the contract negotiations, something like that happens to Chris Olave, they were talking about the same situation. So he has to protect himself. And, I believe that the holdup has a lot to do with the history of concussions with Chris Olave. I think if Chris Olave didn't have those concussion issues, I think the Saints would have signed him to a deal. I feel the Saints want to put something in his contract, maybe something to protect themselves in case he goes down with an injury or something that is concussion related. And maybe his representation don't feel like that's necessary, so they're probably kicking against it. But regardless, this guy is doing what is best for him. We all know what Chris Olave can do when he is on the field. So that wasn't a surprise to me at all. Head coach Kellen Moore spoke about Chris Olave sitting out during certain portions of practice.
No, I think it's just respecting the business side of this thing. I think they're just working through that as we go. And so he's been, everyone's been great about this whole process. So no issues there. And, he did a little bit individual, just keep stuff ramping up.
Is the plan for him to kind of stay the course in terms of out of team drills until the contract?
We'll just communicate, one day at a time. So he's been great. I think everyone's on the same page.
So you see Kellen Moore not making a big deal out of it because he understands the business portion of the NFL, and that's what Chris Olave is doing. And I expect for this to continue as long as the New Orleans Saints have not come to an agreement with Chris Olave on an extension. So he has to protect himself, and I'm not upset with that. I seen him in certain portions of practice, and he looks fast. He looks smooth. He looks fluid. So I think that, Chris Olave will be fine, by the start of the regular season. I'm pretty sure a deal will get done by the start of the regular season. I don't feel like this is going to go into the regular season. I think that they're going to get something done very, very soon. Let me go ahead and stop right there before we get into more of Saints training camp. But feel free to put your comments in the chat about Saints training camp. What are your thoughts on the first day? Let's see. Same thing happened to Bengals defensive tackle Shamar Stewart. Yeah, that was pretty nasty right there, man. I was looking at how he was coming off the line, man. I mean, it seemed like his knee bent forward, man. I mean, that was pretty nasty stuff right there. He had to be carted off the field. And then you have Chris Brazzell for the Carolina Panthers. I think he was carted off the field. So look, man, training camp is underway, and we understand, man. Football is a very physical sport. It's physical. It's one of those sports where you can't go out there half stepping, right? And you got to go full throttle. And sometimes when you are going full throttle, things happen. You look at Shamar Stewart. I mean, he was ready to just get off the line, and and with that explosiveness, and it's just unfortunate that it happened, but that's football, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, it like they say, it's not ballet. But at the end of the day, you gotta send prayers up for these guys. Only thing they're trying to do is go out there and showcase their talent, be able to take care of themselves, take care of their families, man. So it's unfortunate that has happened, but that's football. Unfortunately, injuries like that occur, and you hate that it happens such at an early time in the process, but such is life. Devastating injury. Dalton said, "Oh, we can't catch a break." I don't even think it's just the Saints. I just think that it's a lot of teams, and you hate to say it, but I just feel like more injuries are going to continue. I mean, you got to think about this, man. You have these off-season activities, but a lot of these off-season activities aren't as strenuous or rigorous as some of these training camps, right? I mean, they pretty much go at a moderate speed during some of these mini camp and OTA. Like they want to make sure that they protect these players, but at training camp, everybody is jockeying for position. Everybody is trying to solidify their position. If you're a guy on a bubble, you're trying to show the team that you have what it takes to be on the team. If there are unanswered questions about your production or your capabilities, you want to go out there and prove the naysayers wrong. So everybody goes into training camp with their own logic and mind frame as to what they want to bring to the table. And unfortunately, these things happen. So it's the first day of training camp for the Saints. Maybe, I think it's the first day for a lot of teams. But at the end of the day, man, you can't go out there half stepping in the NFL, and these guys get hurt. Well, Xavier Harris, let's go. Well, Xavier Harris right now isn't practicing. He's on a non-football related injury list. I believe that he had an injury that he sustained at Ole Miss. So the New Orleans Saints put him on the NFI. And I just think that this is one of those situations where a guy like Xavier Harris can move up the depth chart. He can find himself on the field, but he has to get on the field in order for him to be able to be a part of this competition. Broughton and Miller got to step up. Yeah, Vernon Broughton, I think that the Saints expect big things from the big man. And Christian Miller, I expect for him to be an integral part of the defense as well. That's regardless. Even if Bryan Bresee got hurt or not, I expect for Christian Miller to get a substantial amount of snaps. He's a second-round pick. If you've seen him play at the University of Georgia, he's an extremely athletic big man. He can move really well. And also, man, he's good at stopping a run too. So I expect for him to be a part of the rotation, and I expect for him to do big things in New Orleans. I'm going to go ahead and stroll down just a little bit. It says injuries are going to be injuries because that's a part of the game. It says praying for Bresee, but it's next man up. Yeah, I mean, it's just the truth. But, I mean, Bryan Bresee was, a key contributor for the Saints defense. I know people, probably want Bryan Bresee to be, getting 8 and 9 sacks a season. But, I mean, just when he was out there, he made an impact. And, it's going to be hard to replace a guy like that. No doubt about it. But let's go ahead and move on. We talked about Chris Olave being limited in practice, not taking part in a lot of activities due to the contract negotiations. We talked about Tyler Shuck going into year 2. And now we move on to Alvin Kamara. Alvin Kamara, as we know, restructured, got a restructure of his contract a few weeks ago. This was the first time he spoke to the media since then. It seems as if Alvin Kamara is in good spirits, which is a good thing. He's ready to embrace any role that the Saints has for him. I expect for Alvin Kamara to be doing some big things in 2026, especially since, he's not going to get as many snaps as he did in years past. So I just feel like that's going to help him be on the field more frequently throughout the season. So he did speak to the media on a few topics here. And one topic that he talked about was feeling slighted, if you will. Like, the New Orleans Saints not really making his contract negotiation a top priority after all of the years that he has put in and the good work that he has put in a Saints uniform. And the question was, does he feel slighted? And this is what AK said.
I wondered if you would feel slighted by the way they treated you this season, not addressing your contract.
Yeah,
so I didn't feel slighted by that.
I've been through a lot in my life, where it's hard for me to take shit personal, honestly. Like if as long as you don't do nothing like to me physically or to my family or people I love, like it's really not too much that's gonna piss me off. Like I can't lie. I mean, I kind of just do what I do, and when it happens, it happens. Like I said, I talked to Mark and Teron all off season, and we kind of went through all the scenarios. I talked to Cam, and really I was just talking to my mom and just kicking it. Like, she was kind of worried and asking me questions every week, and I'm like, yo, I don't know. I'm fine. I'm training. She's just like, are you okay? Are you okay? I'm like, yeah, Mom, I'm okay. Like, I'm really better than I ever been, honestly, like from a mental standpoint. You know what I'm saying? And then coming in here, I just got like a lot of clarity. Just feel good, feel energized. Like, I'm here to work.
So, I mean, he doesn't feel slighted at all. And I said this before, man. Alvin Kamara is probably, the most unique elite player that I've seen in a long time. Like, this is a guy that when he's in the facilities, when he's playing football, he's there. But he's one of those guys that, and I often say this, football is what he does, is not who he is. And I don't think he takes things personally at all. I think that he is a guy that is just willing to embrace any role that the Saints has for him. I think that he's a team player, and he just wants to go out there and compete, man. He just wants to go out there. And he talked a little bit about possibly, having a little bit of a chip on his shoulder. A lot of people have written him off, feel like he is washed, so to speak. We all know about the article that was written a few months ago by New Orleans Saints columnist Jeff Duncan. And, the question was asked, to AK, was he a little bit ticked off? Going into the 2026 season, does he have something to prove? That question was asked by Jeff Duncan, and this was AK's response.
So Teron said you were motivated and pissed off at the narrative. Was that accurate, or was he just... So, no answer.
Not for you.
All right.
Come on, look at it.
So right there, man, doesn't seem like, AK has anything to say to Jeff Duncan. And I'm gonna be honest with you, man. Jeff Duncan, that you can tell that article that he wrote about Alvin Kamara, and and for those that don't know, it was an article kind of like insinuating that the New Orleans Saints need to move on from Alvin Kamara, and Alvin Kamara needs to move on from the Saints. And some of that, some of the verbiage inside of the article was like, he's not the same player he once was. He used certain type of analytics to talk a little bit about, Alvin Kamara not being the same player. And, a lot of Saints fans have their reservations about Jeff Duncan, about, some of the things that he says. And, some people felt like, after the extension took place, Jeff Duncan went into hiding. According to, the people on that side, say he was on vacation. But look, we know that these players, even though they act as if they don't, pay that much attention, they do. And, when you are saying certain things about players, or, maybe writing articles that present players as if they're washed or they don't have what it takes anymore, they're going to feel some type of way about it. But Alvin, that was just his way of, in my opinion, telling Jeff Duncan, like, I saw what you written about me, and I ain't got nothing else to say to you. So it's gonna be tough, man. It's gonna be tough, man. You hate to see that, but I don't think it's going to stop Jeff Duncan from writing those articles and continuing to cover the team. If you are in journalism, you got to have a little bit of thick skin. There's going to be something that you have written or will write about a player that they may not like, and it might cause you to actually have an exchange with that player, or maybe the player doesn't want to have anything to do with you. But at the end of the day, AK is ready to hit the field. He's ready to embrace any role the New Orleans Saints have for him. And it's crazy how Jeff Duncan may be the biggest bad guy in New Orleans since Anthony Davis, man. It's pretty crazy, man. But at the end of the day, those are still storylines coming out of Saints training camp. Looking forward to seeing Saints training camp. Hopefully, we won't be talking about any more significant injuries. Once again, Bryan Bresee possibly lost for the season with a torn ACL. Prayers up for that young man, and hopefully he can get back on the field, man, to do what he loves to do. Says he realized how blessed he is to even be in a position like that. Says Calvin, I was over there. He's there. Says Jeff only does this to black players. Let's keep it real. Says OG, what's up? And he says, but y'all know me. I was looking for an apology. If you were looking for Jeff Duncan to apologize, I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think that's going to happen. But yeah, that doesn't seem like that's his MO. Like he's a guy that basically writes what he feels, and sometimes, like, man, I'm telling you, when you write something, it's going to rub people the wrong way. These players, they work hard to try to get on the field. They try to work hard to try to be the best players they can be. And but I also feel like the article that was written by Jeff Duncan, in my opinion, I don't think that some of the things that was put in there were accurate. And I also don't feel like someone that has covered the team and it is covering the team, I just feel like you should have a better understanding of where the Saints are, what the offense was when Alvin Kamara was really running wild and really making plays and making an impact on the offense. Like, what did that look like? What did they have? And you look at some of the issues that they've had on the offensive line. I mean, it's no secret. Everybody has talked about it. I mean, from Mickey Loomis to Alvin Kamara to the offensive line itself, they know that they haven't played at a high level, and it has made the running game extremely difficult. We know that the New Orleans Saints don't really run the screens like they once did. We know that they are not allowing Alvin Kamara multiple plays in space or option routes. So when you take away all of the things that have made Alvin Kamara special and then turn around and say, oh, well, he's not the same player anymore. Is he not the same player anymore? Or is the offense so watered down to a point where he can't showcase the skills that have made him special? And that's where I stand. I think that the New Orleans Saints have not put you are dealing with this type of situation. Is because Alvin Kamara isn't being used the way that he once was, I should say. And that's not on Alvin Kamara. So I just think when you are writing articles like that, when you're saying things like that, I think that that's pretty weak, man, that you're going to do some stuff like that. I just think that that's sorry. So at the end of the day, I understand that you have to write articles and you have to give your opinion based on what you see. But look, man, if you know football and you're around football as much, I just feel like you need to write accordingly and not just sum it up and write it up like this dude is just washed and not the same player he once was. But you look around, the team isn't what it once was. So what do you do? Jeff gets no respect over here. I don't respect Jeff. Yeah, I think I will say also, I think that he has this allegiance to Sean Payton, and when the Saints weren't the same, when the New Orleans Saints weren't, winning football games and all that kind of stuff, it just really seemed like to me that some of the language and verbiage that he was using, you can tell like it was almost like a guy who was saying this Sean Payton is no longer with the team. So, I'm gonna just kick the team while they down because they shouldn't have never got rid of Sean Payton. Like it's a lot of like to me, I just think that had a lot to do with it. And I really feel like some of the things that he writes about when it comes to like some of these players is, it's almost like saying, Sean Payton isn't there anymore. So this is the reason why. This is the reason why the Saints aren't that good anymore. Alvin Kamara isn't like it's to me, I just feel like is more because of his relationship with Sean Payton. Let's see. He here from Germany. Hope make the Paris game this year. Yeah, that'd be cool, man, if you could. I think Alvin is one of those people that knows how truly blessed he is. He's an elite football player. He is happy and can take care of him and his folks. Yeah, man. Look, I just think that he just plays football and it gives him the life that that can make him comfortable, make his family comfortable, and as long as that's going right in his life and everything's going right in his life when it comes to like being able to take care of them, I don't think he has an issue. I don't think that there's a problem. And, it's good to have a player like that where you don't have to like just make things extremely difficult and every, accolade that they get, they feel like, extra dollar got to be added to it. Like, it's pretty easy to kind of deal with a guy like that makes things very, very simple for you. I heard Bresee may be out for the season. Yeah, it's looking that way. It's looking like he might be out for the season. I just feel like that's just hater talk. Yeah, look, yeah, I think that I don't even know if it is hater talk. I just think that dude kind of relishes because I don't know. I think in a way, I think Sean Payton kind of relishes the fact that the Saints haven't been the same since he left. And when Jeff Duncan talk, it's almost as if he's, he's like the mouthpiece of Sean Payton or something like that. So he feels like, his love and respect for Sean Payton, I think that it kind of inspires him to kind of ish on the team at times. Like I really do. You can listen like when he talks sometimes, like he brings up Sean Payton and he brings up the success of the Saints when Sean Payton was there. And, the fact that they don't look the same way, he doesn't shy away from the fact that they don't. Even some of the issues that's going on within the organization, it's almost like he paints it in a way where it's like Sean Payton did everything. The organization basically just kind of stood by. In some cases, that can be looked at as true, but I mean, it just seemed like to me, he they have conversations off the record, and it sounds as if he speaks in a way like the Saints aren't the same since Sean Payton left, and here's why. I think Villa is going to the Niners. Let's see. Bucks not stupid enough to give us Villa. Nah, that ain't happening. Nah, they're not going to trade within the division. Not that type of player. Villa would be nice though. Yeah, he's gonna get traded away, and they're not going to trade him to the Saints. That's just not happening. That would be insane. You don't give away one of your best players to your divisional foe. You just don't do that. Is Kellen Moore? He stinks. Man, Kellen Moore going into his second season. We don't know if Kellen Moore stinks or not. I will say this: Kellen Moore looks a lot more comfortable in his role as a head coach this season, and it seemed like he's coming into his own. It seems like he's a little bit more comfortable, and you can tell like during his press conferences and stuff. It seems like he's more sure about what he wants. He's more confident about what he wants, and that's a good thing. That's a very good thing if you're a New Orleans Saints fan. I think that Kellen Moore is starting to embrace his role a little bit more. Says, welcome back, TJ, Who Dat Nation 2026. Yeah, thank you for being here. Appreciate it. I know there's a lot of people that, took the offseason off, not really focusing on football, came back for training camp, and thank y'all for being here. And I really do appreciate it. I really appreciate it a lot. Yeah, man. I mean, just going around the National Football League, we talked about Shamar Stewart looked like he hyperextended his knee. It seemed like Chris Brazzell, the third round pick for the Carolina Panthers, he got carted off the field. There was a fight at Cincinnati Bengals training camp between Jamar Chase and I believe Jalen Davis, the defensive back. So I mean, football is indeed back. And these guys go out there, man, they're competing. They're competing and they trying to win every rep. I believe out in Minnesota, Kyler Murray had a really big day, threw some really big touchdowns, one to Jordan Addison, the other one to Justin Jefferson down the field. So Kyler Murray is looking comfortable and, had a really solid day. So looking around the National Football League, injuries occurred not only in New Orleans, but a lot of places. And, it's probably going to be that way, man. Somebody's going to end up getting hurt because, I mean, training camp, football is a physical sport, and you hate to see that. Who said the dumb ish about Kellen? Don't worry, Pammy, I took care of it. I said, not me. Look, I mean, I don't know if anybody can say what Kellen Moore is and isn't at this stage. Right? I mean, you don't know. I mean, he's going into the second season, and I think that this is a season where you can really evaluate Kellen Moore as a head coach. Last season, I just think that, the Saints were looking for a head coach. They were unsuccessful because nobody wanted to inherit a mess. Nobody wanted to be looked at as a lame duck coach or a coach that couldn't do their job, based on the fact that the New Orleans Saints put them in a bad situation where we're talking about salary cap issues, agent players, and nobody wanted to do that. So the fact that Kellen Moore was able to embrace this challenge and willing to go there and start the season off 1-8 and all these other things that was going on and was able to embrace that, I just think that you should give Kellen Moore some credit. So this season, I'm looking at Kellen Moore a little bit closer, evaluating him more as a coach and what he can bring to the table. This season, you got 2 draft under your belt. It seemed like you got your starting quarterback. You got some pieces around him. You got a defense that's pretty solid. Got a good defensive coordinator with Brandon Staley. So you should be able to make some noise and you should be able to do some things offensively and defensively to generate success. And if you can't, then we have to start, evaluating Kellen Moore accordingly. Now, everything is not going to be perfect. I mean, we all understand that, but you want to be able to learn from your mistakes in situational football. You want to be able to understand that better. You want to make sure that guys are getting off the field efficiently, offensively. You want to be able to start fast defensively. You want guys to know where they need to be. And you also want to be able to take care of your players, making sure that you take care of their bodies so they can be available to you on Sundays. So all those things are going to be evaluated more towards Kellen Moore, and we're going to probably look at him a little bit more closely than we would last season when the Saints really didn't have much at the time, and everybody kind of understood that. What's good with it? Who that family? What's going on, Charlie? Appreciate you for being here. Says Moore has built his offense. Just wonder who's going to fill Davis's shoes. Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, you look at the linebacker position, you think about Demario Davis moving on, going to the Jets, being the leader up there again. You think about Caden Ellis coming over from the Atlanta Falcons, started his career with the Saints, now back with them for the second stint. You got Danny Stutzman, the second-year linebacker out of Oklahoma. I expect for his role to increase a little bit. You got Pete Warner, now the elder statesman, the veteran linebacker. You got Jalen Ford, and you also got Isaiah Stallbird out there. So you got yourself a young linebacking crew. You got some athleticism on at the linebacker position. You got some guys that can fly around. So somebody's going to have to step up. And I believe someone said, and I apologize, I can't remember who said it, but they talked about Demario Davis and how much of a leader he is, and it's hard to find a leader like Demario Davis, and that's the truth. Like, I don't care who you get. I mean, I don't care if you get an athletic elite player, at the linebacker position, will not be able to lead the team and carry the team like Demario did. Demario not only was a leader on the field, but he was a leader off the field too. When he spoke, people listened. So that's going to be hard to replicate. But if everybody does their job, if you have your linebackers tackling, making sure that they cover when need be, then I think that the Saints will be fine. But it's going to be hard to replace a guy like Demario Davis. So if anybody's looking for someone to replace Demario Davis, that's going to be very hard for any one of those guys to do. But they can do a really good job, and they can just do their job well. And I think the Saints linebacker crew will be fine. Do you think we will use Noah correctly? We're talking about Noah Fant. Yeah, I think that the New Orleans Saints will use him correctly. Noah Fant is a tight end that can block really well, and also he can catch. I think that people look at him as more of a pass-catching tight end, but, he's a guy who came from the University of Iowa. We all know that Iowa is known for their tight ends. He's a guy that can block really well, so I expect for him to help out in the running game, and I expect for the New Orleans Saints to use him in the red zone and in third down situations. So I expect for the New Orleans Saints to use him quite often. I believe that the New Orleans Saints will use multiple tight ends. We know that particular formation is sweeping around the National Football League. We know that the Rams use it really well. We've seen in the years past where multiple tight ends were successful when, the New England Patriots had Gronk and Aaron Hernandez. That was a very successful duo right there in New England. So the New Orleans Saints have some talented tight ends. You got Juwan Johnson, you got Oscar Delp, you got Noah Fant, you got you got Maliki, so Mataval, you got Mataval. So I mean, you got some talented tight ends out there on the field. So and you got some guys that can actually block in the run game. So when you have tight ends that can do defense to be able to try to cover those tight ends and be able to account for them as well. So hopefully the New Orleans Saints can go ahead and they can get that thing done. Okay. I saw Jared spoke and Hurd didn't want to. I don't know what's going on right there. Says TJ, I don't think Mickey is going to pay Chris Olave. He might just trade him. He should be paid. I don't think they're going to trade Chris Olave. That ain't happening, man. I'm telling you. This, in my opinion, the hold up, it has nothing to do with the fact that the Saints don't want to pay him. The Saints probably want to look at this from a business perspective. They want to maybe put something in his contract. Like the question was asked to Mickey Loomis when he spoke to the media, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Well, I think it was Tuesday. So yeah, if you're watching this on a Wednesday, it was yesterday. And the question was asked, like, does Chris Olave's concussion history play a role? And he said somewhat. So to me, like, what other questions need to be answered about Chris Olave? Think about this, okay? So we're talking about Drake London. I believe Drake London, what he got, about $35.5 million or something like that annually. You think about that, right? So you look at Chris Olave's stats, you look at Drake London's stats. Like analytically, Chris Olave has had better stats than Drake London. So you know that he's capable of making plays. You know that he's capable of being a top receiver on the team. He has been the number one guy since the Saints have bestowed that title upon him. So you know what he can do, and you know that what he's capable of doing. What the problem is, right? It should be a no-brainer. The thing about it is the only common denominator is the fact that Drake London doesn't have a history with concussions. If we're talking about a guy who does not have a history of concussions, does not have a history of that, and I don't think we even having this conversation. I think that Chris Olave would have been gotten paid by now. So I don't think it's the fact that the New Orleans Saints don't want to pay him. I think that the New Orleans Saints want to make sure that they put something in that contract. And maybe his representation, I'm talking Chris Olave, may not want that. But that's the only thing I can honestly say that could be stopping this contract extension from taking place. There's nothing about Chris Olave's game that tells you that the New Orleans Saints are looking at him and based on like what you know about the Saints. And we know like Chris Olave's personality, the way that he carries himself. I mean, it's tailored made for a New Orleans Saints lifer, right? A guy that doesn't rattle the cage, a guy that doesn't go up in there, cause problems and all that kind of stuff. The Saints will pay those guys over and over again because those are the type of players they want in their locker room. So we know that that's not an issue. So what else could it be other than the fact that the New Orleans Saints may want to protect themselves in case Chris Olave gets hurt? And I think once they decide that, then we're going to hear a story come out very soon that Chris Olave is going to receive an extension. It's nothing more than that. There's nothing about there's nothing that should be standing in the way of the New Orleans Saints giving Chris Olave a contract extension other than the fact that they want to protect themselves because of his concussion history, period. Nothing. Like, think about it. What else could it be? If it's not that, then what could it be? We know that the New Orleans Saints, they pay their players that carry themselves in a dignified, professional manner. And even, Mickey Loomis said, he's like, Chris did all the right things. Like, just think about it, right? Last year, Chris Olave was asked about his contract extension. And what did he say? He didn't go out here and say, yeah, I plan on getting paid and all that. He said, I haven't done anything for me to be able to have leverage, to be able to talk about a contract extension. But what did he do? He went out there, he bet on himself in 2025, had his best season statistically, and now he went back to the negotiating table. Mickey Loomis talked about and praised Chris Olave for the way that he carried himself and how he emerged as the leader in a wide receiver room and how he's doing the little things in the offseason to get better. He talked about all those things. So what else could it be other than what the Saints may be kind of skeptical about, which is his history with concussion? TJ Pammy was asking about Miss Barbara on Saints Talk channel. Okay, all right. I didn't know what was going on. Says I did blame the Saints, and I don't blame the Saints, and I don't blame Chris, but sides are looking out for the best interest. That's just the way it goes. I mean, football is a business, and when we're talking business, I mean, you got to take the emotional aspect away from it. Both sides are trying to do what's best for themselves, right? Chris Olave is trying to do what's best in his best interest, which is, making sure he take care of his body. His body is his money, right? I mean, his lower extremities, upper extremities, his mind, all those things are important to him receiving a big time contract. And you don't want to go out there, and hurt yourself. And then all of a sudden you give the organization all the leverage in the world. I mean, he's showing up, so he's not going to get fined. I mean, he's going to take part in some activities, but not the ones that can cause him to, seriously be injured. And like I said on the last episode, I don't feel any Saints fan should be upset with him or mad that he doesn't want to go out there and participate when he doesn't have a contract and his future is not secured. I mean, think about it. I mean, if you would you go to work if you know that you ain't about to get paid? Like, would you be out there, getting up early in the morning for absolutely nothing? Absolutely not, right? You're going to look out for your best interest. Like, you may like where you work, but if the paycheck ain't coming on Thursday or Friday, whenever you get paid, you're going to be like, man, look, I like it, but I don't want to be here, right? I got to be able to take care of myself. I got bills that need to be paid. My kids need school clothes, right? You know what I'm saying? I need toiletries and I need groceries in my refrigerator. So you got to be able to take care of yourself, man. It's business at the end of the day. Business at the end of the day, folks. So I don't think anybody should get mad at Chris Olave, because Chris Olave is just doing what's best for business. Can't believe Browns reached 2-year deal with Denzel Ward. He has 6 concussions. Yeah, I mean, but Denzel Ward, when healthy, is one of the best young cornerbacks in the league. So I don't, you know what I'm saying? I don't think about, saying that, when it comes to Denzel. Like, I just think that he's a very talented cornerback. So it's probably the reason why. And that's one of the main reasons, Dalton, I just think that they're going to end up paying him. But the New Orleans Saints want to, consider that. And they want the representation to consider that too. So I'm pretty sure there's going to be a clause in that. Maybe there's a certain amount of money where the representation of Chris Olave, like, oh, heck no. And maybe they're just there's some verbiage away from this. But I don't think it's a numbers thing. I don't think it's like, oh, he's getting paid this annually. I don't think it's that. People just need to get out of their feelings about Olave. Well, I don't know if people are in their feelings, but I'm just saying, like, we have a tendency sometimes, not everybody, but we have a tendency sometimes to always blaming the players when they sit out. Oh, man, they know they can be here. Oh, man, they being selfish. Like, nah. You can't look at it that way, man. Football is a business. Amen. I don't shuffle papers for free, TJ. Man, I ain't shuffling no papers for free. You want to be able to take care of yourself. Like I said, it's nothing personal. Like, some of us, we have really good jobs, right? We like the people that we work with. We like the hours that we have. We like the things that our job entails and how gratifying it is. But if somebody was to tell you to do it for free, man, it's like, man, I mean, I like it, but I got to do what's best for my family. I got to do what's best for me. Start taking things personal, and start getting emotional about somebody else's bread, man. No, let's not be pocket watching now. No pocket watching up in this thing. Man, y'all block Who Dat Records. Y'all don't got love for Who Dat Records. Chris Olave getting traded. Kellen Moore stinks. Y'all gonna listen to me. Bring back Jake Hanna. I'm out. Man, you gonna get yours in, ain't you, buddy? He said, man, y'all ain't stopping me. You ain't stopping me, man. I'm gonna get my word in. I'm gonna get the last word. But hey, man, at the end of the day, I don't know if you're serious or not, but we won't know until these things actually happen, bro. We ain't gonna know until these things actually happen. And I apologize, ladies and gentlemen, if my internet signal isn't doing best. I have a router and I need to get it changed out. So hopefully in the next couple of days that ends up changing, man, so I can be able to get some better reception. What my office is in my house, man, it's like in the weakest area where the internet is in my home, man. So I picked the worst room to call my office, but I just appreciate you all for being with me. Like, sometimes, man, I really don't know until I actually watch the show in real time, like, how bad the reception is at times. But I appreciate y'all for being here. I just hate it when we lose players I'm attached to. Yeah, I mean, look, that's just what it is. I mean, but, man, that's just the reality of football. Like, guys get traded, guys move on, guys retire. We need the rookie defensive tackle from Georgia to ball. I think Christian Miller is going to be a really good player. I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do on the field. I like him. Let's see. I thought it was my internet. Nah, it's actually mine. It's actually my internet, and like I said, it's been kind of wonky. I found out that I just need a new router, so I have to order one. And hopefully that'll solve my problem. Like I said, I have the weakest spot in the entire house. Like sometimes, like I'll be trying to like watch on my phone or whatever like that to see what the quality is actually looking like. Like I can see it like right now, it's look like kind of jittery. So let me try to do some. Well, I can't do it now. I was gonna try to see if I can lower the resolution and that can actually improve it. But I apologize for that, man. But I appreciate y'all for being here. Hopefully, like I said, in the next day or two, I can get this new router and things can be much better. Says, I want to wish my dad a happy 70th birthday today. Yeah, shouts out to your dad, man. Happy 70th birthday to him. 70 years, man. That's a blessing. 70 years of being here. Says, how about his old teammates and wide receiver from Detroit? They all got paid. Yeah, I mean, but when you look at Garrett Wilson, Garrett Wilson doesn't have like any concussion issues. Clearly the best wide receiver for the Jets. And, you think about Jameson Williams. Jameson Williams is just as good, man. This guy has talent. Teams want to pay talented players. And the Saints will pay Chris Olave. I would be shocked if the Saints don't pay Chris Olave. And I'm talking about within the next week or so. I really honestly feel like the verbiage and some language in the contract is the holdup. Via ain't coming to us. Use your brain. Nah, that ain't happening. I have Sparklight. My internet goes all outdoors. Yeah, like I said, it's crazy. Like it's the weakest part in the house. Like where all it is like my office is like the first room in a house. Like when if you open my front door, like my office is right to the right. So you would think like I should have like some pretty good reception. But when you look at like the layout of the house, okay, my bedroom sits like, down the hallway from where the box is that holds like all the cables and everything like that. But where my room sits is the furthest off from that box. So that's what causes the issue. Let's see. A contract's gonna have a rider or something. Yeah, it definitely probably gonna have a clause in there. I'm pretty sure they will. Dang, Bryan Bresee. Well, that's why you have the next man up is Miller time. Yeah, man, I just hate it for Bryan Bresee because he signed that 5th-year option, and it's gonna be difficult for you to be able to get a contract extension from the Saints or any other team. People know he's talented, but this was a deciding year for him. It was almost like Trey Hendrickson, in my opinion. Like with Trey Hendrickson, he was having those injuries, and in the final year of his contract, he had, I want to say like maybe 13 and a half sacks that season. And the Saints end up like not, re-signing him. He ended up going into the free agent market because he kind of, priced himself out of New Orleans, but this could be a situation where the Saints probably end up signing Bryan Bresee, probably giving him like a extra year or something like that, a 1-year deal. And they just give him a contract extension or something like that to give him opportunity to be able to go out there because they know he's New Orleans. If he would have, had a good season. TJ, just buy another house, bro. Big money grip, man. Absolutely not. I like where I stay. And I definitely ain't got it like that to be buying no extra house. I tell you that right now. I hate it too about Bresee. Let's see, went to Cincy and bust out. Yeah, but that's what happens sometimes, man. Those players, like teams, feel like, oh man, that last year was an outlier, and then they end up getting paid, going somewhere else, and becoming a monster. TJ, I like that Shuck said Tyson has yet to mess up a rep. Speaks to the kid's discipline and processing power. Excited to see what he can do, and I believe the Saints are handling this correctly. Yeah, man. I mean, one thing you can say about Jordan Tyson is this guy just loves football. This guy to me isn't like seem like a flashy kind of kid. It seemed like he just likes football, and he plays football with that enthusiasm and passion and love like you want to see it played. And as long as he stays focused like that, and as long as he stays humble like that, I think he'll be fine. But he just seems like a good kid, man. I mean, I've met him when he was at the combine, and just seeing him walk around like the media floor, like he was out there shaking hands, like anybody that pulled him to the side, because I mean everything is in one room, like all the like media personalities and different stations and stuff like that. They all have their own section. And you see just Jordan Tyson just kind of work in a room, and everybody that you just talk to, man, just give them that eye contact. And, it just seemed like he's just extremely humble, man. And it always seems like everybody he talks to is like, he's happy to speak with him. And it's a guy who has dealt with a lot of injuries and, it is excited and fortunate and blessed to be able to play the game. And you can tell like it means a lot to him. And I think he's going to be a special player. I really do. I think he's going to be a special player, and he's going to be fun to watch. I think that he's going to generate some excitement in New Orleans and do some things that has us. I really am, because I think he has the talent and the ability to be a top receiver, not just a top receiver on the Saints team, but a top receiver in the entire NFL. He's that good. But I want to say to everybody, thank you so much for stopping by, checking out the Straight Up TJAY Podcast. Very simple. All you have to do is subscribe to the channel, hit that like button. Also, make sure you subscribe to the Sleeper Saints podcast that is available right now. You can go to youtube.com, search Sleeper Saints. I'm going to go ahead and put that link inside of the chat. So for those that have not gotten it, have not checked it out, feel free to do so. Feel free to go ahead and search for Sleeper Saints and make sure that you subscribe to that channel. We talk New Orleans Saints over there. We will be doing that throughout the entire 2026 NFL season, breaking down the Saints, breaking down training camp, and so many other things. So make sure that you subscribe to Sleeper Saints. Here is the link. And also previous episodes you can check out on Sleeper Saints, and you can follow me on X at TJAY Jones 8. Thank you so much. And until next time, I'll see you down the road.
TJ. Yeah. Straight up. Let's go. Welcome to Straight Up TJAY. Tap in, sit back, press replay. We're locked in with the Saints on a weekday. Now we talk every sport, every big play. Years on the grind, now we level up the view. From the dome to the world, get a better look at you. No script, just truth when we break it down. Barbershop talk, but we broadcast it loud. Welcome to Straight Up TJAY. Straight up. Fresh takes every time a beat play. This ain't your everyday sports cliche. We talk real talk now, what the streets say. Welcome to Straight Up TJAY. New wave every week, let it replay. From the Saints to the whole game each day. You tapped in with the truth. Straight Up TJAY. Real time talk, yeah, you know that it's live. From the draft to the deals, how the stars really thrive. From the court to the field to the big stage. We gon' cover every angle like a back page. No cap, no spin, just a clear take. If it's weak, we gon' say let the fear break. From the city that believe when the odds stack, TJ got the whole sports world in the group chat. Straight Up TJAY. Straight up. Fresh takes every time the beat play. This ain't your everyday sports cliche. We talk real talk now, what the streets say. Welcome to Straight Up TJAY. New wave every week, let it replay. From the Saints to the whole game each day. You tapped in with the truth. Straight Up TJAY. TJ Jones, turn it up, let it ride. Straight Up TJAY. We on your side. New chapter, same grind, same name. Hit play, pull up, join the gang.